Hey, good morning, Mike Werch. Good morning, Clive Sawkins. It's great to see you guys again. I know that Video Guidance and BCS Global merged around a year and a half ago. How's that worked out? Specifically, I'm going to lob a softball to Clive. What's been the easy part? And then, Mike, I'm going to ask you, what have been the challenges that you guys have had to overcome? So, Clive, let's start with you. What were the easy parts of this merger?
As always, Andrew, the easy part's the first few days, when you find out whether you made a good marriage and whether you were all truthful to each other in the previous year of courting. The good news was we were, and I have to say the last year has been very smooth. We planned the integration before the acquisition merger. We knew what the top 3 or 4 things were that we wanted to take care of. We knew how we were going to look after both of our customer bases and keep them up to speed, and we had a plan that we had agreed on prior to the acquisition. So we stuck to that, and I have to say it's been a very smooth ride.
Well, so it sounds like a lot of thought went into this. So over to you, Mike. What have been the tough parts? Where were the challenges?
Yeah, thanks, Andrew, and good morning to you. I think the biggest challenge was operating under 2 different brands. That was confusing. It was confusing to our customers, it was confusing to our partners, and it was confusing to our employees. I mean, we considered ourselves Video Guidance and BCS Global, 2 long-standing organizations in the industry. So that was the challenge. We saw ourselves as our prior selves. So we knew we had to do something, and that's what we're here to talk about today.
Oh, so that's a good segue into the current announcement. You've explained why you've changed your name. I guess I could ask, a year and a half after the merger, why now? Who'd like to take that? Clive, why don't you? Why now?
Yeah, so Andrew, I come back to my first point. We had a plan and we stuck to the plan. And even before the acquisition was made, we had discussions about our global branding. What did we want to be when we grow up? What did we want to be when we'd done the hard work of the integration? And even before we went down this road, we knew at some stage we were going to change to a single branding. Now, I have to confess at that point, we had no idea what the name would be. We had no idea how we would position it. We hadn't done any of the marketing work. We hadn't done any of the touch points with the customers to understand what they wanted us to be, and that takes time. But it also allowed us to do some of the heavy lifting behind the scenes. Integration of the finance systems, integration of HR, all the things that brought the savings that we wanted that makes us efficient going forward. So doing it at day one would have been the wrong thing to do. Allowing us to do our integration of people and process while not upsetting the customer and the channel base over the last 18 months was exactly the right thing to do. Now is the right time to relaunch under a single brand and show the marketplace what we've achieved.
Interesting and very thoughtful. Mike, why don't you share with us the name of the company and perhaps tell us if there's any reasoning behind the selection of the name. And then, Clive, I'm going to ask you to tell us the name with your English accent. But Mike, we'll start with you. I realize it must be hard to find a name today that isn't taken by somebody else. So
it is to some degree, and I'll share it with the Minnesota accent, Andrew,
okay.
If that's okay. So our new name that we're announcing today is Pinnaca, and the name is derived from the word pinnacle, which means top of the heap or best in the business, if you will. And it was a challenge to come up with a new name. As I mentioned earlier, we were both very proud of our storied past. Video Guidance for almost 17 years, BCS Global for almost 17 years. You become very attached to a name and a moniker and a logo. But we knew with some outside counsel and with much work that, hey, we needed to become a new company. And we think the word Pinnaca really defines who we are. A single entity that is best of breed when it comes to the visual collaboration space.
Very clear.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Thanks.
No, very clear coming from Minnesota. And Clive, and then in the end, I'm going to tell you how we're going to pronounce it here in Boston. But go ahead, Clive. Pinnaca.
Yeah, so exactly the same, Pinnaca. And let me just go back one step, because Mike touched on a couple of key points, and Andrew, so did you. In this day and age, it is so hard to find a name that's not registered, that someone hasn't taken all the internet domains for, and actually you can build a message and a brand around. So if I was very honest, the first thing I went to was to try and define, as the two companies come together, our core disciplines and our beliefs. And one of the things that I always say to customers, and I say to every single employee, is that we have one standard, and that's excellence. And everything we do must be to delight the customer in how we deliver the experience. So Pinnacle would have been absolutely great as the company name, but it's taken by many organisations and I can't get it. So then the juices started to flow about how can we have a play on words and build something around our core beliefs. That's why we ended up with Pinnaca.
Okay, now in Boston they're going to add an R to the end of that. It'll be Pinnacar.
Okay.
When there's an R at the end, we drop it. When there's no R at the end, we add it. It's a long-term custom here. Interesting story, and a lot of thoughts gone into this on the part of top management. How is this playing with the employees? And I realize you get employees now scattered on multiple continents. How does the change affect the employees, and how are they reacting to it? Mike, why don't you start with the U.S. view?
Sure. It's been very well received, Andrew. We launched it internally early in January. We knew that we wanted to kick the year off with a bold statement that we are becoming one. To Clive's point, we did a lot of legwork last year in combining the systems, some teams, and some messaging internally. But we wanted to share that with the entire organization in January and keep it under our hat until today. And since that time, we've seen or felt the shift. You know, we truly are operating as a single entity now. It's no longer us, them, it's we. And I think it's great going forward. And we're excited about today. We're excited to share this message with our customers, with our partners, and with the community on who we are and how we're better together.
Clive, would you agree? Is it a we attitude over there in the UK?
Yeah, yes, it very much is a we attitude. I don't want to take it away from another manufacturer, the power of we, but that's exactly how I feel about the organisations. And it is a point in time, Andrew, as you know, once you've brought people and systems together, they're ready for the next step of the journey. And as Mike said, we shared with everyone in the business in January the name of the company and how we were doing it. Weekly updates have gone out as we've made progress. And I have to say, I'm very proud of the team globally. I don't think the name has crept out anywhere, but every single employee knows the new name and the new branding, the new colour schemes and everything that we've put together.
Well, that's great. It sounds like the ability, like Apple, the ability to keep something secret until it needs to be not secret. Well, let's end with what I think is perhaps the most important question, and certainly a question all your customers must be thinking about. How does this name change, which reflects the merger, how does it affect the customers? Mike, why don't we start with you and then end with Clive?
Yeah, and I think, Andrew, to my earlier point, it ends the confusion. I think our customers now have heard that, hey, we're part of a larger entity. We're global in scope. We've got a global network and a global knock across multiple continents. They heard that story, but again, we had two different names and multiple products and services with different names. So today that ends. So we become a single entity with a single logo, a single go-to-market mission and strategy. And going forward, we will simplify our products and services. We overlapped a lot with the organizations. As you can imagine, we're very similar organizations with similar products and services, but different names. So we will clean that up, it'll simplify it, and make it very easy for us to take our message to the marketplace. And as you know, Andrew, the marketplace is confusing. It's very confusing to the customers on where this industry is going. And we have always felt that it's our job to guide our customers down a path, take this journey with them, and I think today it makes it much easier as one organization.
Great. Clive, did you want to add to that at all?
I don't. I think Mike has articulated our vision and our way forward extremely well. This is the next big step of our journey. We've done all the hard work behind the scenes. We've simplified the product, expanded the best of both product sets now across the globe. All the heavy lifting's done, all the customers are going to see going forward is a fresh new brand and an even better organization as we go to our next stage of growth.
Very interesting, and let me say, I think you guys bring a wealth of knowledge, experience, and a very broad range of products and services, and I wish you the best of luck moving forward. Thank you for your time today.
Thanks, Andrew.
Thank you.
Have a good day.